So I've been rewatching this documentary that's free to watch on YouTube about the Super Smash Bros. Melee scene. It was supposed to be an episodic series, so someone glued it all together. It ends up being like 4 hours or so. I didn't get through it all, but it's quite a good and well done documentary. Very interesting to see a small scene set up for a competitive game like Super Smash Bros. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a fighting game, I guess, but it's a little different from most fighting games. It has Mario in it, and a bunch of other Nintendo characters and a bunch of non-Nintendo characters. But anyway, that documentary is quite interesting. Even though I'm not a Smash Bros. Melee player myself, I really enjoy watching that thing. It's very very cool to see the vibe of a professional scene emerging. Because it's not like an online game, so they had to meet up and play together, and it kind of reminds me a lot of the Go competitive scene and how it kind of shoots up in the West, and it actually directly reminded me of the Surrounding Game, which is a documentary. I have sung its praises in previous episodes. I love that documentary. Actually, one of my favorite scenes in that documentary is a deleted scene. It's a cut scene, and you can get it if you purchase the movie on Vimeo, which I think is the only way to watch it right now. It's like $3.99 or something. It's very cheap. If you're a Go player, it's worth the investment. You get a few deleted scenes in there, and one of them is that when they visit, like Andy Liu and Ben Lockhart, rest his soul, visit the Hungarian Go Club in New York, or Hungarian pastry shop or something in New York, and that's where they have a Go gathering, and I love the energy there. I also really love the opening scene of the Surrounding Game where Andy Liu is staying up late, just playing Go game after game on, I think it was Tie Gem. The vibes, they're just, they're amazing. You can't really match them. I love those like get together, small, tight knit vibe of like intensely competing. And it's kind of what I felt was captured by the Smash Bros. Documentary. So I would check that out if you haven't. Also, obviously the Surrounding Game, check that out if you haven't. But you're listening to Starpoint, the show about Go for Go fans away from the board. And today, I want to talk about balance in the game of Go. Go is a game of balance. It's a game that doesn't reward all-in strategies. It's a game, although you can play it that way, but to the maturing Go player, this Go player is trying to find how to balance their game and play not only in a balanced style themselves, but also see balance on the board. Although you are trying to win this game, like any other competitive game, you're trying to win, and you're usually trying to win in all those games by a large margin and just trying to force a win by throwing everything at your opponent. Go is a game that kind of punishes you for trying to do that. If you try to take the entire board, as you will have learned in your first 50 losses as a DDK, you will understand that trying to take everything will end up in you having nothing. So it immediately teaches you, hey, don't be too greedy. And it teaches you so many different dichotomies about life and death, territory and influence. And there's so many different things where you have to fine-tune your skills. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, is how do we fine-tune our skills and find a good, balanced sort of play. And I want to start off by sharing a tennis anecdote that I have shared before on the show. But this is a story. I'm terrible at tennis. I'm still terrible at tennis, even though someone's tried to teach me how to play. But they have improved me quite a bit to get to the point where I can hit the ball. I can hit the ball and get it across and over to the other side. Like that's the kind of tennis player I am. I'm just happy to get a rally going. But this coach, who was doing this out of the kindness of his own heart, was teaching me how to serve. And every time I tried to serve the ball, it would go way out. I would, because in tennis you're supposed to serve diagonally, and then there is like a little box in the area across from you diagonally where you're supposed to hit the ball. Otherwise, it's an illegal serve. And I wasn't hitting that. I wasn't even hitting the court. I was hitting it out when I served. It would just go out, hitting it way too hard. And after my coach noticed that I was doing this, he said, "Okay, just, you know what? Don't even try to get it over the net. Hit the net. Like, get it before the net." And, that's going to actually also be a problem, right? You shouldn't hit it at the net. You shouldn't hit it before the net. Otherwise, that's also a bad serve. But he's noticing that I am struggling to reel my serve in. So he's telling me to do even less than what I think I'm supposed to do. And do you know what actually happens? I serve, and I'm trying to hit the net, and what happens is I just get a perfect serve. Like that, like I was trying to hit the net, and I actually get a perfect serve. So, I mean, it's like I needed to overcorrect myself in order to get where I am. And I think that happens a lot in Go. That actually happens to me sometimes. I remember playing Go and feeling like I was too aggressive, or someone told me I was too aggressive. So I started playing defensively, right? And someone stronger than you is telling you, "Hey, you're too aggressive on the Go board. You should not be so aggressive." I'm like, "Okay, fine, I'll play defensively." So I started playing defensively. I've been playing this way for a while, and I'm like, oh wow, my style of play is a lot more defensive than it used to be. I'm not as aggressive and needlessly aggressive. And I throw my game out there into the internet for a review, and a couple of the strong players comment, "Oh, you're being a little bit needlessly aggressive here." And I'm like, what? I did not know I was being aggressive. It's the same kind of thing I feel when I was playing tennis and I was overshooting it, and I felt like I was hitting it weaker every time, but it was still going out of bounds. So I had to scale way back and really be told that I was still too aggressive. So how do we find the right balance, right? It's really hard to find the balance in your play because you will feel one way and then the results will say another thing. And to help you with that, I will start by listing off ways that you can lose games. Because I think that in order to diagnose your situation, you should take note of how you tend to lose games. And this is going to be the easiest way to tell if your game is unbalanced, because you're going to lose in a particular way usually if you're not balanced. A balanced Go player will actually probably have more varied wins, or varied losses rather. Among their losses, they probably have more of a variety of reasons why they lost than someone who is not balanced. They may lose in one way again and again and again. If you are running into that situation, then good news for you, right? It's always good news when you have a problem in Go, because that means you can fix that problem. It's when you don't feel like you have any problems and you're still losing, then it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? So hopefully this can pinpoint some problems for some of you, but let's start by rattling off ways to lose Go. One of the ways to lose Go is, I guess this is the only way to lose. The only real way to lose is that you don't have enough points. So maybe I should narrow my definition of not enough points. Maybe not enough points means nothing crazy or uneventful happened on the board, or eventful happened on the board. Nothing crazy died. Nothing crazy, like big trade-offs or some Joseki mistake or anything like that. Neither on your end or your opponent's end. And you play through the game, and it feels kind of like you're agreeing most of the time, right? We talk about Go as a conversation on the board or hand talk, and you can kind of feel this, right? Sometimes you have a game where you feel like you're agreeing with your opponent throughout the end of the game. And then at the end of the game, when you tally up your score, after all of that, where you kind of felt like all the trades were balanced, you don't have enough points and you lose. And if you feel like this is one of the ways you're losing, then take note. Another way, I guess more common among beginner players and DDKs, probably a lot of SDKs if I'm being honest, is when you die big, right? You are playing a game and you are playing some kind of like tense battle and you lose a large group of stones, and that was enough to tip the scales in favor of your opponent and you lose. And if you feel like that's the way you tend to lose, if you feel like there's a pattern there, we'll take note. Another way is you feel like you took a lot of influence while giving up territory, and yet your influence didn't amount to anything. You were not able to attack anything with that influence, that thickness. They were able to nullify, and they got all this territory in exchange, and you were not able to make up that difference. On the other hand, you can do the opposite thing, right? You can give up too much influence, and while you're taking some points of territory, and then suddenly you get, I mean, this might be the same as the died big, because usually if you give up too much influence, your problem will eventually be that you will die big, right? Because the influence is usually used to attack. But in any way, like whatever way you lost because of that large influence that you gave up. Or you might actually lose on time, right? That is a legitimate way to lose a game. And it's an important part of Go that we can't forget about, even though it's technically not like go, but if you're competing, we are competing within the dimension of time, right? It's like almost like if you're playing sport, like soccer, and you ignore that it's a physical spatial sport, right? We have boundaries, and we have a reason for those boundaries. But in Go, we have the grid and we also have the dimension of time. We have to respect those boundaries, because if we respect those boundaries, then we can play within those boundaries and actually have good Go. But if we don't respect the boundaries, then we start losing on time, and we start having lid gate problems and things like that, right? So, what should we do to counterbalance these things? Like, let's say you have thought about all the ways that you're losing and you have found an emergent property among all your losses. I am losing because this all the time, right? Or every game. I went through a time when I was playing on Fox, when I was losing a lot of games because I was dying, right? That was just the way I would lose. If you find that this is happening and you can find a pattern, well, this is the good news. You can try to counterbalance that. Let's say that dying big is the way that you are losing. I would suggest, if you find yourself losing games because you died big, try playing a game where you just stay alive, right? I know it will hurt. It will not feel good to go for more and just be conservative and make sure you're... So the goal here with all of these is not to win anymore. The goal is to... It's like a sub objective, right? A side quest almost, right? You have a different win condition that you're approaching the game with. Because what you normally do is you approach the game with, I need to win this game. But now what we're doing is we're treating the game as a training session. Obviously, don't do this when you show up at a tournament and you're going to unless it's been a viable strategy for you. But best to do in a casual game or online, or just like a casual club game or something like that. But what you can do is your goal is no longer win, but stay alive. That doesn't mean you have to keep every single stone, but it means count your groups, take care of your group, stop going out of the way and making yourself vulnerable to try to get a kill, and defend more, right? If you have those quasi, I'm not sure about this connection type of things, yes, then invest a move, be more conservative, stay alive, see what happens when you do that. Chances are you will actually still die, or maybe if you're good at this, you will actually stay alive. But I think what happens is if you move the needle back and forth like that, you will finally be able to balance and find the middle ground where you kind of know how to toe the line and you know how to take risks when you need to and play it safe when you need to. But you can only do that once you scale it back a bunch. So, because if I just tell you to play as you do, but try not to die, what will probably happen is you're just going to play the same way you've always been playing. Because obviously, even when you're playing now, while you're dying big, you are also trying to stay alive, I presume, right? It's not like you're trying not to be alive, but your other goals are kind of clouding this other thing and you're dying on the board. So be ultra conservative in that. And you will find it very, very difficult. I think, at least in my experience, it's very difficult. For example, in that tennis example, even though I shot it under, like my brain was trying to shoot it under, it actually got it perfect. So I even failed my goal. I failed my goal, but I won my previous goal. Oh, by the way, I didn't even introduce this method. I guess it doesn't really matter what it's called, but if you were confused by the title, I was calling this whole thing the over-under method, short for like overshoot, undershoot method, right? So if you have a certain balance issue in your game, you will overshoot to fix it or under shoot to fix that particular problem. Another way that we discussed was a reason why someone might lose their games is that you don't have enough points. And in the way where you have a peaceful negotiative game, I would suggest being greedier, right? That I think means that you're not greedy enough. You're playing pretty solid, and you're playing pretty safe. And this could be a not enough point situation where you're losing by like 5 points every game, or it could be like you're losing by 20 points every game. And according to that, you might want to play aggressively. This is not a problem that I've ever had. My problem has always been being too aggressive. I'm more of like aggressive type. Some of you are more conservative, and some of you have trouble kind of being a little chaotic. So what your goal here should be not to be too conservative and actually try to kill something. Maybe that's something that you should try to do. That might be overkill, but I think that's the point of this method, is that to get out of our comfort zones and take on a new personality and a new style. A little side note about style. I know some people are kind of attached to their own style and they like to identify with a certain style. But what I find in not just Go, but in a lot of other creative endeavors and athletic endeavors, is that style is not something that you yourself decide on. Style is emergent out of you from trying out all these different styles, from trying to do other things, trying to improve yourself and expand your sphere of influence. Then the style emerges. I don't think that people go out and try to play a certain way and then become that. I think they are naturally a certain way, but that will only come out if you let your natural self experience as much as you can. So in this way, with the not enough points thing, I would say change up your style. Try doing the crazy attacks, right? Do invasions, do something crazy that you never cut when you've never cut before, right? Things like that. Another way is kind of similar, which is like giving up too much territory. Maybe this is also kind of something that I've done before because I'm more of an influence player. So I'm like an aggressive, I mean, it makes sense, right? Aggression and influence go hand in hand. So I have given up too much territory before. Even if you are an influence player, you don't want to give up too much territory. So if you're finding yourself in this kind of problem where you're giving up too many territorial points to your opponent, try playing a territory game. Try forcing your opponent to take the influence. You can play 3-4s or even 3-3s if you are normally a star point player. Play more moves trying to cash in, right? These may look slow and uncomfortable to you, but if you're losing because you're not taking enough territories or cash, maybe this is something that you should try. if you play like this and you're trying to take all this territory and you still lose because your opponent took all the center territory, well, maybe you went a little too much in that direction. I would say congratulations for doing that. But now it's time to add a little sauce to your game, right? After we overshoot, we consider that a success, or undershoot, we consider that a success. But then we still lose, then it's time to find the balance. And I think that if you try the opposite style to what you're playing, you will find it much easier to find that balance than if you were to just try to slowly inch towards the middle. On the converse, if you give up too much influence, right, and you're getting attacked and you feel uncomfortable and you feel like you don't know how to direct the game because your opponent's always using their thickness to attack you, play an influence game. Play 4/4s. If you are playing out a Joseki, take the option to take the influence rather than the territory. And this is all actually a great opportunity to learn more about Go in general, because once you start doing this stuff, you will actually start to ask yourself some questions like, well, if I wanted to play an influence game, what are the Joseki branches that allow me to take more influence? And you will start asking yourself these questions to shape your game. And if you have more knowledge about how to direct your game, like what are some ways I can be more aggressive? What are some ways I can be more defensive? What are some ways I can take territory? What are some ways I can attack? What are some ways I can defend? If you are asking all these questions, you will find yourself researching and wondering about things, reviewing things. And this is a great way to get yourself to learn more about the game. If you've been playing a one-note game and you've been plateauing for a while, this might be it, right? Change up your style. I highly recommend it. I think I should do it more. Thinking about it right now really motivates me to actually try to do more of this stuff. I know it's hard. I think for me at least, and I'm sure many people will probably relate, but when we approach a game of Go, it's almost sacred. You almost want to just always try your best. You always want to do the best thing every time, what your sensibilities tell you. But if we are to improve, if we are in it for the long haul, any one game isn't supposed to be worth that much. If we are able to learn from it, right? It depends on what your goals are. If you are trying to just win every single game, I mean, you're going to try to win every single game, and maybe that means losing on chances to learn. And one of those chances to learn might be having to give up some games due to experimenting with your game and trying different things, reeling it back, right? And that might feel uncomfortable for you to try because you feel like you want to try to win every game. But then what happens to those two players, the one who just continues to try to win every game according to their own sensibilities versus the player who is experimenting, reeling things back, overshooting things, and seeing where they stand on all the moves? That player may very well mature a lot more than the other player and end up winning a lot more games than the other player. So you have to really zoom out and think about Go in a different perspective sometimes. Rather than just on the one Go board and thinking about how to win that particular game. Last but not least, losing on time, right? So this is a little bit of a meta way to lose, but if you're losing on time a lot, I generally don't have this problem. I think I've lost on time online, just like I would be able to count it on one hand, I think. I might be wrong, but that's the way I feel. I don't think I've lost on time very much. I'm pretty good about forcing a move when I need to and just kind of making sure I don't get into the deep end with it. But if you're somebody who loses on time a lot, I think your first goal, if you're losing on time a lot, like every other game, or even a third or a quarter of your games you lose on time, I would suggest trying something like play 10 games and your only goal is not to lose on time. You can lose, but not on time, right? If you can get through that, then you can start, strategizing about your time a little bit more. See if you can get through games without losing on time, and then also manage your time by playing the moves that you want to make and giving the thought to the moves that you want to give your thought to. That's a little bit of a tricky one. I think it takes a lot of work to train that time muscle. But overall, I mean, maybe it also has to do with like playing different time control games, right? Sometimes maybe playing faster games might be beneficial to those who lose on time with the longer games, or vice versa. So that's what I have for all the ways you can maybe counterbalance your technique to try to find the best balance for your game. When does this not apply? This doesn't really apply if any of these given ways that you're losing is not that common. And like I said, like you're a balanced Go player already and you have all these different ways that you're losing every game and you can't see a distinct pattern, then I would say maybe it's not worth counterbalancing it. Maybe then what I might suggest is just shaking up your style. If you know yourself on the Go board, try something new and see what happens. And you may discover something about your game. Or you're losing by like a couple points per game, like 1 or literally 0.5 or 1 or 2 points. In that situation, I would say maybe that's like a bad luck run, or it's an end game issue, right? Maybe it is an end game issue and you're maybe higher level. I think if you're consistently losing by 1 or 2 points per game, you're probably a lot higher level, because that's probably pretty hard to do at a lower level. But overall, I think I would like to encourage folks to try new things on the board, try some crazy opening. I know that I say this, but I would really hesitate to start a game and then play Tengen right away or something. Like it's just wrong to me. Like I don't want to do it, you know? Or, you know, even like experimenting with like a 5-4, 6-3, something like that. It's hard. It's hard to step out our comfort zone. So just take it one step at a time. Maybe try something new. I would also encourage this kind of experimentation more for live games rather than correspondence, because correspondence is a little bit unique in the fact that it catches you at different moments throughout the day. And you may have one style one moment of the day and another style at another moment. So it's not as consistent and it's harder to rein in a particular style of play. But with the live game, if you're playing it over, you can kind of go into that game and say, I'm going to play more aggressive this game. And play throughout that game, and then review it right away and think, okay, how did that go for me? Was I aggressive enough or was I not aggressive? What happened when I was aggressive, right? And do all that stuff in that one session. So I think that's kind of the last tip I would give for how to do this. So hopefully these tips help you balance your game from left to right, right to left, or front to back, or aggressive to defensive, whatever you have. I hope it helps. I would say that these tips apply to the advanced beginner and beyond. An advanced beginner is someone who has played enough games to be able to characterize their games, if you know what I mean. If you're just a pure beginner, you're really just going to have a few games under your belt, and each of those games will have probably learned a new thing about Go. Kind of stumbling here and there. But if you're an advanced beginner, that means you've started to gather games under your belt and you're starting to characterize your games. And I think it'd probably be beneficial even at that early level, as much as it could be beneficial to those who are seasoned Go players and have been playing for a while and have been plateaued for years like I am. So I think that I would like to see more of this experimentation in all your Go games. So if anybody has experienced this and or plan to do so, report back to me and tell me how it went. If it went catastrophically, go ahead and tell me that as well, because that at least will be an amusing story. But now it's time for the DDK Advice Corner, and the tip of the day is, it's kind of an advanced tip. Try a different move order. So this is definitely a little bit more of an advanced tip, but if you're trying to get something to work on the board and you're reading a variation out and it just doesn't work, it doesn't quite work, try moving the order around. Try different order. Like if you're reading, like if I go here, he goes here, and then I go on this side, and then he hanes and whatever. Try the other thing first and go, okay, what if I go on this side first, he hanes, and then I do this? You'd be surprised how much that changes certain situations. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it will not, but it's always worth considering to try a different move order. And now it's time for listener mail. Spooky writes, "Hi Justin, just a note on playgo.gg since it was mentioned. It's a nice platform, but the reason you can get a game quickly is that they will pair you with a bot if you don't match a human in the first 20 or so seconds. The bots are mostly quite convincing, but sometimes they do odd things that give them away, and they always resign when endgame starts if they are 10 points behind." Oh, interesting. "I have played around 10 games but I am not sure I have played any humans yet. GoQuest does the same, but they're upfront about it and you can opt out. You can't opt out on playgo.gg and they don't tell you that it's happening." Oh, that's a shame about playgo.gg. Actually, that's kind of what turned me off of Paduk Pop. I remember I played these correspondence games and I would realize that like it would match me instantly, and then the way they played was just regular. It was so regular, like, you know, it was like on schedule, and I was just like, there's no way this person in Korea is playing right now. And yeah, that turned me off. And you know, it's a bit of a shame because I mean, I like the way that GoQuest handles it. If they are telling you like we do have bots to fill up our time, and you can turn it off. It is a problem because we don't have that many Go players, and so of course these servers are going to try to fill up their time. You know, you go to a Go server and you are like excited to try it out. You click play and you try to look for a game and there's no one there. I'm never trying that Go server ever again, right? So it makes sense that these Go servers are trying to do so, but yeah, it would be nice if there were more upfront about the bots. Cheers and thanks for the podcast. Monday is when City of London Go Club happens. I don't always make it, but when I do, it would feel strange not to have Start Point to listen to on the way. Oh, that's awesome that you're doing like a Go podcast listening while you're going to London Go Club. Hopefully, you guys know this. If you're YouTube listeners, if you're on YouTube, you know that there's hiccups on Mondays, and it takes a little bit of it goes offline and online a couple times before it's solid green. So I apologize for that, but glad to accompany you on your London Go Club. Have a nice session today if you are on the way right now. By the way, I meant to send you this link from Go Magic, which has a table comparing rankings from different servers and amateur Go associations. It's quite interesting. Okay, so I have looked at this and it looks very similar to the one I've seen on on Sensei's library a long time ago. So I'm wondering if they copy and pasted that Go table. I would love to see like a fully updated one, a ranking comparison across servers and associations, but it's kind of hard to do that. You need to survey a lot of people. I think OGS was supposed to do it a long time ago. They were working on gathering the data for it because they have a little section on your profile to enter your rank in different associations and servers, but they haven't compiled it. They just kind of, I mean, someone go and bump that thread. There's like a forum thread about it. But yeah, thanks for sharing the link. And then you say, I should correct that. Playgo.gg actually does say that you may get matched with AI to improve wait times, but it doesn't let you opt out. Okay, so that's good. Hopefully people are still listening after the beginning of the listener mail, but it looks like Playgo.gg actually is upfront about it. I think that's good. Not letting you opt out is a choice. I think the ultimate clarity and transparency would be when you get matched with a bot. It should probably tell you that it's a bot, or at least make it absolutely obvious. Like all the bots are named Adam 1, Adam 2, Adam 3, or something like that. It's just not cool when you're playing Go and you don't know if it's a person or not, right? But it is a problem in Go with the servers, like people, even OGS, the top browser-based server. You can't get games. It's hard. It's like you sit there and you wait. I that's why I don't play on OGS, because I can't, and I need to get a game in, and the only games I can get on OGS are the correspondence games. So that's the way I do play on OGS. But if you go on Fox, an Asian server, then boom, you're in, right? So it's a bit of a problem for us here. Maybe I'll do an episode about stuff like that. Thanks for writing in, Spooky. Buzzsaw writes, I'm actually going to use the listener mail channel of your Discord, though I thought I never would. You have written in before, and I guess it wasn't through Discord. But anyway, I've used playgo.gg quite a bit since I found out about it. My first blog post about the site was in February. Okay, so you've been on it for a while. So not just, you haven't heard it from the podcast, but you knew about it before. Okay, I mostly wrote about their Go lessons. I'm very impressed with the detail the teacher goes to in their lessons. I have edited my blog post to show the subscription rates for the site. When I originally posted, everything was free. That is no longer the case, though you can still get a great deal of value without subscribing. Playing is always free. Okay, that sounds good to me. Playing should always be free. I mean, it's hard enough to find players to play the game of Go, so that seems reasonable to me. I enjoy playing games on playgo.gg because I can get a game about as quickly as I can get one on Fox. This is due to the fact that they have some bots on hand to be sure users get a game. They were transparent about this when I asked if they use bots. Fox apparently does the same thing, but is not transparent about doing so. Ooh. So I've never encountered a game on Fox that I felt like it was a bot. Maybe they just have really good bots. But for me, I don't know. I just feel like I haven't. And that's just my own intuition speaking. It's like the intuition that told me that Paduk Pop opponents were bots. I might be wrong, but for me, I just haven't felt like that was the case. I like the fact that playgo.gg is impersonal because, as far as I know, you still can't chat during games. It makes it feel just as impersonal to me as Fox. I consider that a plus. If I wanted to know who I'm playing and to chat with them, I would play with BenQ League members on OGS, which I often do. Okay, so this is a little bit of another discussion in of itself. It's a little bit sad from a KGS perspective, right? Because a KGS culture was a culture where you talk to each other and you review games together and you make friends on KGS. And now we're moving away from that. And a lot of it is because, well, people are rude. They're not polite. People say bad things during games and people have bad experiences. And this is why so many people, and myself included, play Rocket League with the chat muted. You have no idea how toxic Rocket League players, literal car soccer players are. I don't know why they're so angry all the time or why they feel the need to belittle others, but they do, and it's just an unfortunate thing, and it just means we don't communicate with each other, and that sucks because I do have a memory of playing Rocket League on Christmas and someone was just vibing with me. We're chatting, we're talking about our plans, and we just kind of ran the queue a few times, and it's like this person didn't care that we were losing or winning, and they just wanted somebody to chat with, and that was awesome. But I don't see that anymore because I turn off chat, because most people are not like that, or maybe they are, but most people who are talking to you will put you down. So same thing happens in Go. I have had not nearly as many bad experiences in Go, but I've had a couple, right? A couple people who just said very rude things during the game. And I can understand where you're coming from, where if you feel like your chat is disabled, you can just focus on playing, right? You can just focus on playing and not have to worry about social stuff and anything. That's a plus too, and I can totally get that. And then obviously if you're playing on Fox, not only, I think the Fox players don't talk at all anyway, but they will talk in Chinese. So here's a link to the blog post in case your listeners would like to read it. And then I will link Terry, aka Buzzsaw's blog in the description if you guys want to read about her experience playing playgo.gg. Thank you for writing, Buzzsaw. Aji8432 writes, regarding the divine move, you may be able to see it in the Chinese version. I did really enjoy that version. Here's a link to the playlist, which is free on YouTube with subtitles. And Aji is referring to the Chinese dramatization live-action version of Hikaru no Go, which is actually pretty good. I did not actually watch the whole thing, surprisingly. But I've seen a few episodes, and it's actually pretty good. It's well made. And I will link that as well in the description. And thank you for writing in, Aji. And Sadaharu writes, 3 Dan in 7 months is amazing. I also used to know people who can get to high Dan within a year. I guess some people just get it faster than others. I've also been playing chess for more than 3 months, but I'm still nowhere near 1100. Laughing face, crying, laughing face emoji. So 3 months, that's actually pretty recent. So it's a recent endeavor. I'd like to hear more about your chess journey. I am not 1100 either, and I've been playing longer than you. I think I'm probably like 800 something, honestly. Pretty bad at chess, but I know how to play, and I can beat anyone who knows the rules of chess but doesn't consider them a chess player. Like, I can beat those people. That's the level I'm at. And yeah, I mean, I had a friend who my arch nemesis and rival Akira Toya got to 1 Dan in a year. So yeah, that's something. But anyway, thank you for writing in, Sadaharu. Pedro Costi writes, great content, thanks as always. And I just respond with thank you for listening as always, and thank you all for listening as always. I'm very appreciative of anyone who listens to this show, and even if you don't write in or say anything, just listening to the show, thank you. Question of the week this week: have you ever tried to fix a flaw in your playstyle, especially by counterbalancing it this way? Maybe I should have called it that, the counterbalance method. I'll stick to over-under method. I feel like it's catchier. How did you overcome that flaw? Did you overcome it? Were you successful? Or are you still working on something where you keep playing a certain way and you just can't get out of it? If you want to share your thoughts on that question, and you have a Go story to share or anything Go related you want to ask me or tell me about, leave a comment wherever you found this episode, or email me directly at startpointbaduk@gmail.com. That's startpointbaduk@gmail.com. If you're a YouTube listener, I would greatly appreciate a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're a podcast listener, reviews and ratings help as well. Give a follow if you haven't already on whatever podcast platform you're on. A very, very special thank you to James B., Brendan S., Tristan, Jeff H., Tyrannoton, and Andrew P. for supporting Starpoint. Thank you guys so much. And if you want to support the show in any capacity, you can go to ko-fi.com/startpointbaduk. That's KO-FI. Or check out the Starpoint store for some Go merch at store.startpointbaduk.com. And come on over to the Discord, participate and chat with other Starpoint listeners. You can find the link in the description. Have you guys seen the movie by Pixar, Inside Out, where they have all your emotions in your brain and have and it's not just like Inside Out. I think there's been, I don't know, cartoons. I've been thinking of Arthur, or for some reason, but I'm sure there's other cartoons where they depict having a command center in the brain, like a Star Trek, Captain Kirk type thing inside someone's brain to depict their whole personality. I think I have something like that when I play Go, where there's a committee in my brain. And I think this is kind of how that committee sounds when I play Go.
Well, I've narrowed your choices down to 5 unthinkable options. Each will cause untold misery.
I picked number 3.
You don't even want to read them first?
I was elected to lead, not to read. Number 3.
Thank you for listening. Keep playing Go.